Watch the Game podcast. It's your man L.A. Tatum.
Benjamin Banneker, what's good people? What's going on?
What's up, Pen?
Man,
Well,
well, you tell me what's up, man. I think I just finished my bender um, from last week's game. So, what's up?
yeah, yeah, losing to Detroit, talking a little trash from Uncle Hen, and we thought we had this one in the bag, up 14 with in the fourth quarter. Man, it's just you don't want to lose to the Lions. Chicago Bears lose to the Lions, 31-30. A lot of good, a lot of bad. But let me start out by saying I had a subpar weekend to begin with. I drove through my first snowfall of the season so far,
Okay. Well, we
and
we
it's
excluded.
officially that time of the year. The snow has fallen
Yeah.
right around the corner from Michigan and Ohio State. Expecting both of those teams to hold serve. Got some bad news from Hallis Hall. Khalil Herbert on the injury reserve list. Hip injury.
It hasn't been a good day, like you said. First snowfall, that was not cool. I woke up seeing a winter weather advisory on my phone, and then we see Khalil Herbert on IR. It's like we just keep getting kicked this week. We lost to the Lions, and then this happened, and that happened, and Kyrie still ain't playing. Like we just keep getting kicked this week.
Yeah, and that Kyrie thing is just, it's a good thing the college boys playing right now. As we speak, I think Michigan State and Kentucky are wrapping up in the Champions Classic down in Indianapolis, and then Duke takes on Kansas later on tonight. But it's a good thing the college boys are on the hardwood because as much as we would like to talk about the NBA, man. It's so many side shows going on in the NBA. I'll be glad when Kyrie can hit the floor again because I think he's a little bit unjust right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be in that same camp with you. Like, he served his suspension, and they making him meet all these quote unquote or jump all these quote unquote hurdles to get back reinstated on the court. And it's just like, we know you sick of Kyrie Brooklyn. We know, but y'all doing a little bit too much right now. So
Yeah. Uh, like I said, I'll be glad to see Kyrie get back, and I'll be glad to see the NBA headlines be more
yeah,
about basketball in the future. Hopefully, they can get all this stuff cleared up before the Christmas games. We right around the corner. And that's usually when we kind of pick up our start watching more NBA basketball because the college football scene. We be ready for the bowl games.
right.
Get ready for that. Those traditional NBA basketball games and stuff like that. So hopefully by the time that they play those games on Christmas Day, a lot of this stuff will be not forgotten about, but we can move on to playing basketball. It's really early in the season. I just
Yeah,
hate to see this type of publicity coming down on the league.
yeah. It's a different time from when we was watching the '90s Mike Bulls, in Grandma basement watching the games. Oh, kick it
Yeah,
first game November 3rd. We there, we watching it. Get the popcorn ready. It's a little different now, so we have
yeah,
to find other things to keep our interest in the
yeah,
season. Yeah,
for sure, man. But we're gonna touch on this Bears loss to the Lions. Like we said again, disappointing loss to the Lions. Several things happened. Justin Fields continued to evolve, show that he's got the ability to be the number one quarterback, the franchise quarterback, what have you, in the Windy City. But it's just a sour trade off right now because the losing is not acceptable. And I think we knew the defense would struggle. But this past week on Sunday afternoon, the defense struggled in a whole different way. They just pretty much choked the game out. Now, not to excuse Justin for the pick he threw. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to excuse that. Justin did throw a pick in this game. Cairo Santos missed the extra point on right after Justin goes out and The very next opportunity.
Yep.
Yeah, the very next opportunity Justin had, it was 3rd and 2. Read option to the right. Bam, 67-yard touchdown run by Justin Fields. He's setting all kind of records. And people come up with all these crazy descriptions, trying to put him in a box, trying to call him a running back, and he's proving he's the best running back in the league. And see, this the thing. As fans, we always wonder, why didn't Matt Nagy use Justin Fields to his strengths? Why didn't he play to his strengths? So now I believe all the running plays for the Bears have been put in because of the poor play of the offensive line. Okay, so compensate for the offensive line playing poorly. You put in a few quarterback run plays, and they're being highly successful. The team putting up 30 points a game, but all of a sudden now people talking about he's not doing for 300 yards. It don't matter. He putting the points up, and it's just something to get through right now. Down the road, we know Justin has to develop better as a pocket passer.
Yeah, I mean that's the evolution of every quote unquote mobile quarterback in the league. I mean, when Cam Newton won the MVP, I think that was his best year statistically passing from the pocket. He got him all the way to the Super Bowl. So we know these guys have to develop. We've seen Patrick Mahomes. You know, he's had to reel in some of the backyard football that he was playing to make his team more successful because he was having way too many turnovers. So that's a natural narrative. You know, these guys come in, these young, athletic, mobile quarterbacks, they come in and probably the game is moving a little bit fast for them. And what they rely on their legs. Like, okay, well, let me just go ahead and pick this up real quick. And once the game starts slowing down, I think that's when we see these guys develop into better pocket passers. That becomes more of their primary weapon, but they still got I can get out here and scoot too in their back pocket. So it's you know, I hate to hear that people are talking about, well, he ain't throwing for 300 yards, but you know, he giving you what, 135, anywhere from 125 to 150 yards passing, and then he picking up another 150 running. Like, that's 300 yards right there. Like, what?
Yeah, 300 all-purpose yards. He putting up. He's contributing to 3 or 4 touchdowns a game. I mean, yards mean nothing if they don't accumulate the points. It's about putting points on the board. You know what I'm saying? Find a way to put the points on the board, and that's what they're doing. And it just so happens that Justin Fields has got to use his legs to do it.
You know,
I mean,
we need to when people start saying crazy stuff like that, we just need to start saying Kyle Orton. Remember, Kyle Orton was winning games 13-10, 13-7, but that wasn't good enough. We needed to score more points. Now we're scoring 30 points. Now that ain't good enough. How we get to 30 points? He need to throw for 300 yards and get 30 points. Like, come on, man, y'all. Pick a side.
Yeah, and we don't want to get away from it. The biggest issue is the defense.
Yeah,
they were up 14-0 in the fourth quarter. Okay, and one of the biggest, the penalties just killed them. The penalties just killed them. I want to point out Jalen Johnson for one. Okay, since Jalen Johnson came back from injury, he hasn't played particularly well. And a lot of people forget when they beat New England in Foxborough, he gave up one of the biggest plays on defense. Okay, but what covered that up was winning. Winning the game covered that up.
Exactly.
But he hasn't really played well since coming back from his injury.
Yeah, and he got, I mean, what he had 2 illegal hands to the face penalty. One of them I think was legit. The last one was terrible. I think the wide receiver, he went down like he got shot on the last one. So and the refs bought it. So, but even still, what's EQ's brother's name? He ate him up.
St. Brown. And then the tight end, one of the biggest plays, hit him on a slant route. He got beat by a tight end when he absolutely could not get beat, but he got beat by the tight end up on the slant route that sets up the winning touchdown for the Detroit Lions on Sunday. It's just Jalen now. Oh, in the past, Jalen has been regarded as one of the best one of the best young cornerbacks in the National Football League.
Mm-hmm.
Well respected around the league.
Yep.
But you know, in couple years past, maybe last year, he wasn't targeted a lot. He wasn't getting thrown at a lot. But what happened, I think, after the New England game, I think teams have figured out that they can throw at Jalen. And I don't know if he's completely healthy, but he's most definitely struggling. And it reminds me of the corner that the Bears had 2 years back. Name slips my mind right now. He was struggling coming back from injury. He took a long time to come back. Damn. Name slips my mind anyway. But he's struggling. And I'm questioning whether or not he's injured right now and just playing through the pain. And I think if that's the case, he's hurting the team.
Yeah. And it's been 3 weeks of bad stuff he's put on tape. So I understand it's the National Football League. Next man up, you don't want to relinquish your spot because that's more time, that's more opportunity for him to get looks by the coaching staff. And we all know the name of this game is to get good players at a cheap price. We know Jalen is coming up on the end of his rookie deal, so I understand, trying to fight through it. But you're not doing yourself no favors right now because you have been absolutely terrible the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely struggling. And when I think about that play, I can remember it was Kyle Fuller. If you remember Kyle Fuller, before he flourished as a Bears corner, he had a point in his career where he was injured and he stayed out and he didn't want to come back and play too early, but he stayed out. He kind of put himself in the doghouse with Coach Fox, I believe, at that time, but he did what was best for him and he stayed off the field. And then when he had the opportunity to get back, he played really, really well, got another contract and extended more years to his Bears career. Went out, on a pretty good note as far as the Bears were concerned. And I'm wondering if Jalen is playing hurt. And, because Jalen made a point in the offseason to let you know that he wants to get paid.
Exactly.
In the offseason, he wanted to get paid. He wants to get paid when it's time for him to get paid. When they asked him about Roquan and his money, Jalen made a point. Hey, man, I want to see my man get paid because when it's time for me to get paid, I want to get paid. So I think Jalen is out there thinking about that. And I think he's trying to play through that. But then I think he's just really hurting the team. Not to mention that during the offseason, coming into training camp, a lot of people were questioning if he was in the doghouse from the beginning with the new coaching staff, with Eberflus coming in, having the guys meet these standards and criteria. And they were saying that maybe Jalen was not fitting in right away. I mean, just a bunch of word salad. People had things to say, just reading between the lines. And I'm starting to wonder now if he's trying to prove himself to the coaching staff and to the organization. Look, I'm going to play through this, but I'm just hoping he can play well because I like Jalen. I think it's been a while. I like Jalen. I really do. He's a real good cover when he's playing, when he's healthy. But like I said, before early this season, mid-season, he wasn't getting thrown at a lot.
You know what? With the telltale sign of Jalen not being on his A game. I know we watched the game. Remember Jalen make a big play? What do? Take that sword, put it back in his belt. How many times you seen him do that this year?
I seen him do it once. And it was when he was in the game against Miami. He made a play down towards the stretch where he stopped them. I think they were on 3rd and long or 3rd down. They had to convince, and he made a play right around the end. But as we know, it wasn't enough to win. But he did make one impact play in that game, and I did see him do it then. But I have the privilege of watching him. He does every Monday or Tuesday. He comes on The Score in Chicago, and I think he does an interview. And he kind of talks about the game previous, and through those interviews, I'm kind of getting you know, hear him out, hear him speak out of situations, and it puts me in a position where I really want to pull for the guy, but I just think he's not. It's gonna come out that he's not healthy. I was looking for him to be coming up on the injury list today, to be honest, but unfortunately, it was Khalil Herbert. And yeah, talking about that, Khalil Herbert going on injury reserve gives Treston Ebner an opportunity to play, and also David Montgomery should see more opportunities as well.
With David Montgomery, I think he has to really take a look in the mirror, being given this opportunity again, because he has not looked like the number one back for the majority of the season. Khalil Herbert has looked, more explosive. He's been, had more spring in his step. He just looks like when he gets the ball, he's a threat. And David Montgomery is like 2 yards in the cloud of dust right now. And I'm just like, yo, now I know Montgomery got hurt earlier in the season. So that's another one. Like, is he fully healthy? Is that why we seeing such a disparity between Khalil when he touches the ball versus Montgomery? Because last year you couldn't tell me that David Montgomery wasn't one of the top 5 running backs in the league. And he has not looked like that whatsoever at this season. And again, he finds himself in the same category as we just spoke about with Jalen Johnson. Coming up on the end of his rookie deal. You know the name of the game. Let's get the good players for cheap. Khalil Herbert is is this his second year?
Yeah.
We can ride that out. We getting production out of him. Bye, David Montgomery. Like, come on, man. If y'all want to get paid, y'all got to put it on tape.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when you talk about Khalil Herbert with this hip injury, he's going to injure reserve, but it's going to put him out at least 4 weeks. And then you get to wonder with Treston Ebner getting his opportunity, he's got to expect him to get an opportunity soon. And if he does anything with his opportunity, then it may extend Khalil Herbert's ability to get healthy. But you're talking about 4 weeks. I can see him if Ebner's playing well. I can see them kind of letting Khalil Herbert finish the season out resting because we're at least halfway through. But these guys are ultra competitive, so Khalil Herbert probably going to be hard to keep him on the sideline if he's ever healthy enough this season to get back out there and play running back for the Chicago Bears. Also thinking that they may even add another back to the depth chart now with Khalil Herbert being out on at least 4 weeks injury reserve.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see who they pick up. Like you said, Ebner he's gonna get his opportunity to show. Does he deserve a spot on this team? Is he Ryan Nall? We're gonna find out. But
definitely not Ryan Nall. Now Ryan Nall didn't. No. Back up. Because Ryan Nall got his time in the exhibitions. We've seen Ebner play a couple downs. He's gotten an opportunity to touch the ball under this regime. So he's just gonna get more of a workload. We're gonna see if he can handle it. I don't even know what the hell is he anyway.
Well, I know
he might be out the league.
No, well, I think he at least started the season with the Eagles, and I know this because I just played with the Eagles on Madden the other day, and I scored a touchdown with him. And I started to send you the video of scoring a touchdown with Ryan now. But but I don't know if he's currently on the roster or not.
Yeah. But I want to go on a high note again. After trading Roquan Smith, a lot of people were trying to figure out who's going to be the playmaker. The one guy on defense that stuck out in the exhibition season was Jack Sanborn. And Herb Arkish has given him the nickname of the Jackhammer. Okay, so now you might start hearing that name. You might start seeing those T-shirts being printed up. The Jackhammer. Okay, so Unfortunately, we talked about Jalen Johnson. He took a pick away from this guy. I mean, the guy's played pretty good football in the exhibition season, and he seems like he's answering the bell right now, getting his opportunity to play undrafted rookie out of Wisconsin. Certainly getting his opportunity to play for the Chicago Bears and making plays. Jack Sanborn, how you feel about my man Jack,
I mean,
the Jackhammer?
what he had? He had nine tackles. I think he had
Two sacks.
2 sacks, 9 tackles. This is first game. Let's cool out on how we are. Like, you got to do it consistently 3 years before we gonna believe in what we actually seeing. And I think after one performance, we a little far ahead of the curve if we gonna be giving him a nickname already. So, I have to assume it was a reason he was an undrafted free agent.
Yeah,
it was a reason. So maybe he just had a good game. Let's see if he can stack them things together, just like we want to see Justin stack them things together, just like we want to see the Bears as a team stack these things together. So he's still Jack Sanborn to me. I ain't going Jackhammer yet.
Okay, I want to put some focus on the Lions. This was a big win for the Lions. The Lions beat the Packers one week, then they turn around and beat the Bears the next week. I mean, they got to feel good about the last 2 weeks, but going forward, they got some pretty good, some pretty big time opponents coming up. I know they played Buffalo on Thanksgiving, so I think this win was pretty timely for the Lions. I think it's about to get rough again for the Lions. Let me see who they got coming up, because I looked at it last night. I was like, the Lions play. They got the Giants next week, and then they got Buffalo at home for Thanksgiving. Then they go on and they play the Jaguars. So the next 2 weeks for the Lions going to be pretty rough. So, I mean, I guess the timing is pretty good for them as far as getting those wins, beating Green Bay and then beating Chicago. Probably got Uncle Hen feeling pretty good up there in Ann Arbor. So, shout out to Uncle Hen.
He was riding with us though. He was thinking the Bears was gonna win.
Oh, well, I thought he had Royal in his blue.
Man, listen, I texted him. I said, "Hey, are we putting a bottle of Apple Crown on this game?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm picking the Bears."
Well, I didn't know that. I thought Uncle Hen was rolling with his Lions, man. But the Lions got two pretty good wins, man. Beat the Packers, beat the Bears, stole the game from the Bears. The Bears blew it. But this is the thing: we sacrificing defense for offense now, and we've lost to the Washington Commanders. That's a game we should have won. But the thing about the Commanders is, after looking at them play against the Eagles, they really answer the bell when Taylor Heineke is playing, man. They really do. They play on another level for that guy.
And I think that's an indictment on Carson Wentz. We've been hearing the story since he was in Philadelphia that he just wasn't the guy. He went to the Colts last year, had to win one of the last 2 games to get in the playoffs, didn't get that done. And everybody was trying to say, but he had a decent year. But they shipped him up out of there, and he's on the Washington Redskins football team Commanders now. And now we got Taylor Heineke at the helm. And Carson Wentz quarterback versus us. He versus us, but they respond to this dude. They like this guy. You got to give the Commanders credit. They went on national TV, took care of business. I think the Eagles probably got caught by a trap game, kind of overlooked them. Hey, they was 8-0, 9-0, like we just about to run through this. So I think there's a lot of things happening right there. But from what I've seen versus Taylor Heineke, and he's led them to a playoff berth. They lost.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I think it's time for that organization. I know they got a lot of stuff going on with Daniel Snyder right now, but I think it's time for that organization to, like I said about Justin, this dude can play. Now go get him some help. They actually got weapons on that team. They actually got a good defense on that team. Now it's just about putting that thing together. And Ron Rivera is a good coach. So I think he probably had to play the management ball. Hey, we brought in Carson Wentz, so you got to start him. And now that he didn't got that out of the system, the Redskins football team Commanders. That's their whole name. They might be, next year. That's what you want to see from a bad team. You want to see a bad team. Okay, we bad. But, we starting to make progress. We in some games that we shouldn't be in. Then we start winning games that we shouldn't win. Now we competing with the upper echelon. Like, you want to see them start taking those steps. And they, with the playoff berth, they were doing that. I think they got set back last year because they had some injuries. But, yeah, watch for them to come up. Just watch for them to come up. I still hate their name, but watch for them to come up.
Yeah, I think I do like, you put in Taylor Heineke, and they just looked like a totally different team. I couldn't help but to take notice of what they're doing, and they did it on the road. Now, condolences to Coach Ron Rivera. He lost his mother, and the team is playing on his emotions. And I don't know if you were able to see that locker room speech, but he was really choked up. Former Chicago Bear linebacker. Hey, good to see them get the win in an emotional situation for him losing his mom. But after watching them play the Philadelphia Eagles, I was impressed. And I think now the Bears, we've lost to the Lions and they lost to the Redskins. When you look at the schedule, you'd be like, 2 games that they will win. We didn't expect them to beat the San Francisco 49ers. And then we probably wouldn't expected them to beat the Patriots. Okay?
Yeah.
Because of the coaching, not because of what the players, but just the coaching matchup. You know what I'm saying? We didn't expect for them to go there and do that well in Foxborough. That was the first time the Bears ever won in Foxborough, by the way. But two games we probably shouldn't have won or probably wasn't expected to win. And then we've lost 2 games that we were expected to win. We lost 2. So right around now, the Bears are probably where most people thought they would be, to start the season. So I had to think, I'm going to look forward to the rest of the season. Team that's 3-7. A realistic goal for me, I think, will see the Bears if they can win 4 more games. Only because it will put them at 7-10. And what were they last year? I think they only won 6.
I think so, 6-11.
Yeah. So I want to see them win at least 1 more game than they did last year. Only because to show up Matt Nagy, not so much Ryan Pace, but Matt Nagy, not having the inability to take his young quarterback and coach to his strengths, and that's all these guys done. Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy came in, and they probably had an idea what they wanted to do on offense. Then all of a sudden they figured out, look, this is what works for Justin. And now everyone's talking about he's the future of the league. He's a future MVP and all this. And why couldn't Matt Nagy see this? Because I'm not blaming Ryan Pace. I'm not gonna blame Ryan Pace. Yeah. Ryan Pace, he gave Matt Nagy players to win with on the defense, especially. But Matt Nagy ran that offense in the ground, starting with Mitch Trubisky. And then we kind of figured out Mitchell didn't have the mental stability to play through his coach's errors. Justin comes in last year, and we seen some flashes against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and everyone said to a man, why don't they play to his strengths? Well, here we are, playing to his strengths, scoring 30 points a game. We just sacrificed a little defense to get it done. Pretty bright future for the Bears. Like I say, I just really want to see them win 3, maybe 4 more games. I got to get the Lions. Can't lose to the Lions twice.
That's the one. See, that's the one. And to answer your question, it was Nagy's ego. He couldn't just. He was just so caught up in being the Kansas City Chiefs East, like he couldn't coach to what he had. And that's a sign of a good coach. You coach to the players you got, and he couldn't do that. So, he got removed. But I can excuse the loss to the Commanders, being that it was a short week. The offense had not found itself yet. Still got a first-year coach. We still got a first-time play call. Well, not first-time play caller and Getsy, but it's his first time being the offensive coordinator, right? Because he was a quarterbacks coach in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And so I can excuse that one. The loss to the Lions, I cannot excuse for several reasons. One, you was up 14 points going into the fourth quarter. It was 24-10. Okay, I don't. You got a bad defense. Okay, we the number one rushing team in the league, I believe.
Yeah.
Take the air out the football. Just take the air out the football. You win the game because it's just simply not enough possessions left in 15 minutes for them to score enough. They can't stop you. They can't stop Justin. So that's reason one that's inexcusable. Two, when we came in, we did our preseason picks and our talks, and just looking at what we call the Green Bay North, we was like, we better than the Lions. We better than the Lions. That we ain't even got to talk about the Lions. We ain't got to worry about the Lions. We better than the Lions. The Lions had not won a road game under Dan Campbell until Sunday. You lost that crib. Again, if we was in Detroit and lost that game, might be a little different. Might be. You lost that at the crib up 14 in the fourth quarter. That's inexcusable. So that's the one. That's why I was sick. I was sick on that one.
Never a good time to lose to the Detroit Lions, especially when you get them when they only had one win. Okay, so you're talking about a team that, like you say again, had one on the road under their coach, and it was looking very much like they were not going to win on Sunday, but sacrificed the defense, the penalties, and I'm really just going to point out Jalen Johnson because I mean, Kyler Gordon had a questionable penalty, with that on the sideline, trying to punch the ball out on golf. But I got to point. I was really upset. I had to point my finger at Jalen Johnson after losing to the Lions. Took me, as you can see, a couple of days to get over with. I'm hoping he can play well down the stretch because he's got to make some money. He's gonna be trying to make some money. So, like I said, that was my expectation. 3 or 4 more wins for the rest of the season. You got the Falcons coming up. I think it's going to be a game that they can win. I like to see Justin Fields go to Atlanta and play well in front of Ryan Pace because Ryan Pace drafted him. And I like to see Ryan Pace in the good seats, sit back and just see Justin Fields ball out.
Ain't Justin from Georgia too?
Say that again.
Ain't Justin from Georgia? Originally, he's from.
Yeah, he is from Georgia. Good thing you point that out. Yeah, he is from. So he's going home, a homecoming for him, so to speak. And Ryan Pace, the man that drafted him, right there in Atlanta. Let's just hope that this is a game they should win. This is a game they can win. I mean, come on. Cordell Patterson is playing running back for the Atlanta Falcons. You know how I feel about Cordell Patterson playing running back.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, if you're gonna play running back, at least change your number.
No, 84.
I don't want to see my running back wearing number 84. I think that's what it is. I don't get me wrong. I respect Cordell Patterson's ability to play the position, but just change your number, man. Number 84 coming out the backfield, it's just ugly.
You know what else I'm looking for this week for the Bears? I need to see some more Chase Claypool. I don't know what happened last week. When his debut, he got 6 targets. I think he only got like 4, or I know he only had 2 catches last week versus the Lions. So, and just the amount that he was on the field, I saw the breakdown. He was the wide receiver that played the least. And I'm like, what? Like, what are we doing here? And why is N'Keal Harry? Did he get on the field? I didn't see him on the field.
N'Keal Harry was a healthy scratch. Okay. So was Velus Jones. Okay. As far as this is the thing. This is why I can deal with Chase Claypool not being as effective in that game. Because Cole Kmet was so damn effective. So when you get up 14 points, it shouldn't come down to Chase Claypool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It shouldn't come down to Chase Claypool get an opportunity to win the game. Now, they did have to go to him in the end where Justin had to rely on him to make a play, but I just think that was so predictable at that time. They knew you had to go deep. Just to, if you're going to go with Claypool, find his matchups very early. And I think that's what happened. I think they figured out that Cole Kmet was the matchup. They exploited the matchup. Cole Kmet 2 touchdowns. I think Darnell Mooney caught 1 as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let
And
me
then Justin ran for
no,
2 himself.
Mooney didn't have a touchdown. Cole Kmet had 2, and Justin ran for 2.
Okay. Good. Thanks for correcting me on that. But you know, Justin and Cole Kmet been having it rolling for the past 2 weeks. It's nice to see Cole Kmet bust out, but when you get out to a 14-point lead, you can kind of dial it back on the pass plays. And I think by them not being in a position where they had to pass often with that 14-point cushion, this is probably the reason why you didn't see a lot of more Chase Claypool, because you could tell when they really needed a play, they did try to go to him, but it was too predictable at that time.
But I think the bigger issue is when you said N'Keal Harry was a healthy scratch, and I said I didn't see him on the field. I didn't know he was a healthy scratch. Why is he a healthy scratch? If the overall narrative about this team this year is this is a development year, we need to see which guys are here that we can build around and which guys got to get shipped out. Okay, so you just traded for N'Keal Harry. Why is he not in there? Like, make it make sense. Like, is he part of the future or not? Like, even if he's quote unquote, making some mistakes and things like that, you still went and traded and got this guy, put him on the field, put him in the fire so you can see what it is. Same thing with Velvet Jones. I'm still gonna keep calling him Velvet Jones until he, start producing a little bit more. This guy was a 3rd round pick. He was a healthy scratch, right? Now I know he made some mistakes, but again, developmental year. He's developing. Get him on the field. You gotta is EQ St. Brown in the Bears' long-term plans? We don't know. Is Dante Pettis in the Bears' long-term plans? We don't know. Is Pringle? We don't know. But we got to see these guys.
And see, I think that was the thing. You seen Pringle get activated. You seen Pringle. I think he caught a couple passes. He was targeted maybe 3 times. I think he may have had 1 or 2 catches.
1 catch for 12 yards.
When you go back to the beginning of the season and the wide receiver core wasn't looking that good, Pringle was a guy that you thought was going to get the number 2 looks on the other side of Mooney, because we knew we had Mooney and Pringle coming in from KC. We was thinking that this would be his opportunity to prove himself to be at least a reliable number 2, but he got injured. Okay, they also add to beginning at the end of training camp, you go get N'Keal Harry, 6th round pick you trade a 6th round pick to the Patriots to bring in N'Keal Harry, a big wide receiver. But I don't think they knew. You got to be kind of fair about this, because they probably didn't think that they would end up getting Chase Claypool. And I think Chase Claypool changes everything about game day when you talk about who's gonna play and who's not gonna play. To get back on Byron Pringle, so he's on a 1-year deal. So he's just coming off injured reserve. So we're not gonna spend bad money. Let's put this guy out there. Let's see if he can play. So look for Byron Pringle, Velus Jones, and N'Keal Harry to kind of play musical chairs. Okay, so I'd expect to see this rotation of wide receivers going down the stretch, because for one, you got to get the bang for your buck with Pringle. You got to see if Velus Jones can develop to be whatever you need him to be, slot, punt return or whatever. And then you got to see you gave up a 6th round pick to bring in N'Keal Harry. So now you got to give him an opportunity to prove that he can be on this roster next year too. So I'd expect for the Bears to rotate those guys. And I mean, this could stretch beyond those 3 mix and match it any way you want it. But expect to see those guys mixing and matching on an active list going forward. Pedersen, I think, is the one with the safest opportunity, because he's been back there returning punts pretty good. He's just catching the ball and getting upfield. So I think he's pretty solid at his position, because he can give you the punt returning. But those other 3, Velus Jones, and N'Keal Harry, and Byron Pringle, those are the guys with the most to prove. And I'm not going to rule out EQ St. Brown either.
Okay, so
Okay,
that's what 4 guys we got fighting for what one spot pretty much. Because I mean,
pretty much,
it
pretty much.
it would seem like it would be Claypool 1 if I was coach. I would go Claypool 1. I probably would throw N'Keal Harry out as 2, another big body on the other side. I would move Mooney down to 3, let him work the slot on the inside, small, quick guy, get in and out the cuts. Just based on how we playing this year, I probably would go with Dante Pettis 4. And then we at EQ Velvet. Who else we name?
Velus Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I'm not going to even get tied up into who's doing what. All I know is one thing. We know that Darnell Mooney is going to be there every week, barring he does not get injured. I would like to believe that down the stretch, we're going to see if we got the matchup problems, if we can match up Claypool. So I think Darnell Mooney and Claypool are going to get every opportunity in the next few weeks to finish strong because Claypool is here for the rest of this season, and he's under contract all the way through next year. And you want to give Justin that other weapon. So I think you're going to see a lot of Claypool. I think you're going to consistently see more Darnell Mooney. And personally, I would like to see N'Keal Harry get more of an opportunity because, I mean, he did before we picked up Claypool. He did go to Dallas and he was effective. He called a touchdown pass against Dallas. So I'd like to see him get more of an opportunity going forward as well.
Yeah, and we in the same camp with that. Like, and what we didn't mention in that is Cole Kmet. So, if we got those guys as our top 3, Cole Kmet, who looks like he's starting to turn the corner and emerging as what the Bears thought he was going to be when they drafted him, I'm good with that. And then we still got Justin Fields doing Justin Fields things back there. And we still got Khalil Herbert and we still got Montgomery back there. We the lead rushing attack in the league. So it's a lot of positives. It's just we need to sort this wide receiver situation out sooner than later.
I mean, guys going to have to prove that they deserve to be here. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Hopefully, it can be attached with a little bit of winning down the stretch because I don't think as good as Justin Fields is looking and as happy as we are to see him be effective and make plays. I don't know if we can handle too much more of this losing in Chicago. I really don't.
And I was thinking about if we beat the Packers when they come to Soldier Field, if we beat the Packers, does that excuse losing to the Lions at home?
Well, I looked at the schedule and I kind of picked out the teams I wanted to beat. Beat the Falcons. Beat the Lions. Beat the Packers.
It's 3, okay.
And beat the Vikings. And I'm good.
That's your season right there. Yeah.
Just play well against Buffalo. Just play well against Philly, and I'm good. So you got to beat the Falcons this week, and then I looked at the schedule. You got the Falcons coming up, and then I think you got the Packers after that.
No, the Jets, then the Packers.
Okay, so yeah, there's enough. The Jets playing pretty good.
Yeah.
Don't embarrass yourself against the Jets. Don't do that because I'm not sold on the Jets.
Me
for
either.
one, because they don't have Justin Fields and we do.
Exactly.
So I'm not sold on the Jets. This is another game where Justin Fields will be matching up against another guy, which is Zach. What's his name? The kid.
Wilson. Yep.
Yeah, Zach Wilson. Same draft class. So Justin should be a big game in New York. And this is Justin to have an opportunity. He probably gonna have another chip on his shoulder.
Damn, we
okay.
New York. Didn't we play the Giants in New York too? Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he's going up against the guy that was drafted ahead of him. So uh, maybe have a little bit chip on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
He
So
was like 2 or 3 in the draft.
yeah, I think he was. He was. I think he was the number 2 pick in the draft. I think. I want to say.
Yeah,
Was it? Wait. Maybe no. He was really high in the draft.
he went before
Zach
Justin.
Wilson.
Yeah, he went before Justin. Trey
Yeah.
Lance went before Justin. Zach Wilson went before Justin, and I think it might have been one more.
I think those were the only 2 because Mac Jones went on number 15 to the Patriots,
Yeah.
but Trey Lance and Zach Wilson went before Justin. So and the Jets are not winning because of Zach Wilson. They playing because I think they're running the football pretty good, playing pretty good defense. So whew, like I said, just 3, 4 more wins for the Bears, finish up strong. Then we get ready for the draft. Kind of see what this team do in free agency. Got a lot of money. They're gonna be able to spend. They may not spend it all, but some free agents and some draft picks and see what we do. See what we get out of that. But 4 more wins, I'd be happy with the Bears. Justin Fields get better in the pocket, passing out the pocket and stay healthy. And I might be asking for a lot, but that's all. 3 to 4 wins. Justin play well. It'd be nice to see Khalil Herbert come back and finish strong, or maybe even Tristan Ebner play well enough to kind of keep Herbert in a situation where he can just focus on getting healthy.
I'm gonna need them to steal one of them games down the stretch. Like you said, I know the Jets got a better record than us, but I know we're gonna need to steal a game versus the Jets. Somebody we ain't supposed to beat. If we could steal one of them, then I think that'll make it a successful season for what we thought this Bear season was gonna be.
Yeah, like I say, just to see Justin improve. And like you say, you might want to steal a game. I mean, I got my hands picked on who I want to beat because I most definitely want to beat the Lions. I most definitely would like to see them beat the Packers because they are coming to Soldier Field for that one. So don't want to see Aaron Rodgers come back and own, talking about he owned us again. Speaking of the Packers, they had a big win against Dallas. So I don't know if they're gonna hit a stride, hit a momentum, because he's starting to find some targets. He found what I think Watson,
3
the kid
times.
out there. Yeah, he's starting to find him some targets that he can rely on. So that Green Bay game is gonna always be big. Um, but as far as the Bears beat the Falcons this week, and we can go from there. To close it out, as we always do, Michigan Wolverines beat Nebraska. Have an opportunity to play your alma mater, the Illinois Fighting Illini going into Ann Arbor,
Yeah.
and another team that's pretty good against the run. So a lot of people think that McCarthy's going to have to pass the ball a little bit more to beat the Fighting Illini this weekend.
Yeah, I just saw my man Steve Dace. He just posted talking about he thinks JJ McCarthy is regressing. And the passing game ain't what it's nowhere close to what I thought it would be putting JJ McCarthy in, which makes me nervous going into Columbus in 2 weeks. If y'all been following the show the whole season, y'all know early in the season, about after we had beat Iowa, I was feeling real good, I'm like, let's go. We ready. Let's go down there. And that offense ain't rolling like I needed to. Now we still got Blake Corum. He's still been doing his thing, but I know that we're going to need our passing game to be, and I'm totally overlooking Illinois right now because I think Illinois coming off of 2 straight losses. They lost to Michigan State and they lost to Purdue last week, so they kind of reeling. I think Jim Harbaugh gonna have the Wolverines focus. That senior day, so I can't see them dropping that game. But stranger things have happened. But it's really about getting to November 26th right now. We both 10-0, getting to that collision course, and hey man, JJ McCarthy, I need you to show me something. I need you to have the game that Cade McNamara had versus Michigan State last year when he just went crazy throwing the ball. Like, I need to at least know I got that in my back pocket, and I have not seen that from him. So I'm worried that we might need that versus Ohio State.
Yeah, I think JJ McCarthy's lack of production has a lot to do with the success of Blake Corum as well. When you got a guy rolling the way he has been rolling all season, and by the way, your boy RG3 is one of the guys that put him out there as a front runner for Heisman. We've been talking about this for the past few weeks, but his production has allowed JJ McCarthy to grow and probably have not as much as responsibility in the passing game because he can put the ball in his hands and he can get at sometimes 200 yards out of him in a couple of touchdowns. He's done it a couple times this year. So he's the Heisman Trophy candidate in Michigan. I think to be able to say that you can ride his wave or ride his back, it's not a bad thing. So I think that's had a lot to do with JJ McCarthy's lack of production, if you want to call it, because I don't think he hasn't been really called upon to do a whole lot because I mean he handed it off to a Heisman Trophy candidate,
And,
and you
and
just ride the Heisman. I mean, take this man and ride the Heisman. I mean, you know, when you
and
got it, when it's rolling, roll it. You know, what I mean, roll with the man that brought you there, and I think that's got a lot to do with JJ McCarthy's season this year is being not that he's not being productive, but he hasn't had to be as effective when you're giving it to Blake Corum. Not to mention Donovan Edwards,
right.
because Donovan Edwards he's been able to rush for 100 yards in a game or two this season too. So when you got two backs going for, especially in the last 2 3 weeks, going for 100, 150, 200 yards apiece, come on. I mean, why? What you gonna throw the ball for? You
Well,
got to save all those plays for Ohio State.
that's exactly my point. Like, get Blake his numbers because he's in the Heisman conversation. I'm with that. But when the game is out of hand, like, why not work? Because I need to know that we got that in our back pocket. And right now, I'm not feeling too confident. I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen the wide receivers make enough plays when they had their opportunities. I've seen him miss a lot of deep throws. They still haven't connected on the deep throw yet this season. Um, and I just want to know we got it. I need to know we got it. You know what I'm saying? When you go into a gunfight, you know what I'm saying? You know I got my holsters, but you know I got the one on my ankle too. Like, I don't know if we got the one on our ankle. I need to know we locked and loaded going into that game. So I'm a little nervous. I ain't as confident as I was earlier in the season. But by the time, Uncle Joe roll into town for Thanksgiving dinner, I'll probably be speaking with my chest out and all my bravado. So
Well, that's not typical Harbaugh. A lot of people say he didn't want to show up Nebraska with an interim coach, but I just don't think that's Harbaugh's way. I mean, when they get up 2 or 3 touchdowns, I think he just gonna grind it out. I think that's just his way, and then just not gonna put a lot of pressure on the young quarterback to go out there and make mistakes. You got 2 or 3 touchdown cushion, you know, you passing on third down pretty much. Maybe some screens, some bubble screens or something like that. But I don't expect for them to stretch the field. Not right. Not in those situations when they're blowing teams out. But I do believe that they're going to have to. He's going to be faced with an opportunity where he's going to have to prove that he can do it at least once or twice against Ohio State.
yep. Yep, we are speaking. We speaking the same language. I just want to know that he got it. I just want to know that that's there. And to this point, I can't say it is.
Now, to close it out, Georgia's still number one. Ohio State, as we just spoke of, they number two. Michigan's number three, right? And then
TC.
TCU is number four. So TCU, I had a chance to. That was the one game that I really wanted to see because we have spoke on TCU just a little bit from time to time. We may have mentioned them down the road earlier in the season, but now they had a chance to crack into the number four spot and play in a primetime game against Texas. And I was just waiting for Texas to just, give them the same type of game they gave Alabama because I
Yeah,
couldn't forget that they were the first team that's exposed Alabama, but Alabama came out of Austin with a win. So I wanted to see how much better Texas had gotten. I know they had lost a couple games, but I want to see nationally televised game. How would they answer the bell? Because I thought they were in the same predicament against TCU that Notre Dame was in against Clemson the week before. But TCU answered the bell, man. They went out and they got a win, so they're gonna be, guess they're in the top 4 again this week. So the collision course is on. Ohio State should be matching up with Michigan, and Georgia is at the top of the SEC. I forget who it is on the other side.
LSU.
They're gonna probably have to match up with for the SEC championship. Is it Ole Miss? I'm not
LSU.
sure in the SEC, but
LSU.
Georgia's pretty much locked in on that championship. Oh, it's LSU.
Yeah,
LSU. I'm glad I thought. Oh, look at it. Brian Kelly took his family down there and they getting the job done in Baton Rouge. Now they clinched their division on their side of the SEC, so they'll be in the championship game. They clinched that. I think they beat Alabama, and that was another thing. No, they didn't beat Alabama. They beat Alabama
2 weeks
but they
ago.
clinched it last week against someone else.
Yeah, when Bama beat Ole Miss, that actually clinched the LSU's berth into the SEC championship game because we ended up watching the end of that Bama Ole Miss game. So, but yeah, so LSU will be in there. We'll get some new blood coming out the West. When the last time we seen somebody from the SEC West represented in the SEC championship game other than Bama? I'm sure we got to go back several seasons. So it'll be good. It'll be good to see. I think is Tennessee cooked on the SEC East side? Yeah, because they lost to Georgia.
Tennessee lost to Georgia. I think they pretty much out. So I think it's going to pretty much be a lock being Georgia and LSU for the SEC championship game. Because like I said again, LSU clinched. Big for Brian Kelly to go down in his first season and get a bid in the SEC championship. For him being pretty much the way he left Notre Dame, I mean, he's got the guys playing well. You can't deny that. So to wrap it up, because it sounds like we're having some difficulties here with the sound. Look, Bears got to beat the Falcons. Okay, your Wolverines taking on your Fighting Illini. So there you go, man. Watch the game podcast. Subscribe to the channel.
Like, comment, subscribe. Benjamin Banneker, LA Cheatham. We'll catch y'all next time. Please comment, like, subscribe so we can grow this thing. And come watch the game with you. We want to grow this thing. We want to get some guests on here. We got some big things planned for y'all, but we cannot do that without y'all. So please like and subscribe to the channel. Again, Benjamin Banneker, that's LA Cheatham, and we out.